The elevation change off this might be just too big for it to freaking really like calculate it up.
Hey everyone, this is RC with Outdoor Gold Productions, and today we're going to dig into mountain biking with the DJI Mavic Pro in follow me mode. This is episode 2 of our mountain biking with drone series. If you like the content, please leave a like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. Thanks guys. If you missed episode 1, click a link in this card to go back to it to see what kind of drones I'm flying for mountain biking. But in this episode, we're specifically going to be digging in to my DJI Mavic Pro, which has an intelligent flight mode called Follow Me. If you've been following me on this channel, you've probably noted that I've used the follow me function on a number of occasions. But what if I told you that I've had really limited success with this intelligent flight mode? Take Gunny Loop for example. I completely whiffed in this situation on getting the drone to follow me. Or Andy's Loop, or is it a case of beginner's luck where I absolutely nailed the shot and it stuck with me through the entire flight. We'll be looking at some of the findings I've had on a number of experiments over the course of this time. In this episode, we'll be going out to 18 Road to ride the Kessel Run. The Kessel Run is one of the easiest trails probably in the Grand Valley, and one you can really monitor your speed and a great testing ground for the follow me mode. But before we start riding and flying, let me explain how the follow me mode works. First, it's really important to note that the drone responds to the antenna, which is connected to the GPS on your phone. So the drone is basically responding to that GPS and that signal. In this test, I'm actually going to be using the GARMIN Glow, which is a Bluetooth GPS device that you can wirelessly connect to your iPad or your phone, giving you more satellites and allowing the drone to also communicate with you. So I'll be using that. There will be a link for that in the description. Keep in mind, like I just said, the iPad is Wi-Fi only. It does not have a cell device. And so the GARMIN Glow will be basically talking to the controller and the iPad that's talking to the drone. In essence, your drone will not be able to fly without a device that has a GPS function in follow me mode. Sometimes obstacle avoidance can be an issue, especially when your drone is facing an area towards the sun. And knowing that 18 Road is open and barren, we will be turning our sensors off since conditions aren't with us. And starting right here, I have some really critical points to make. Unlike in the active track, in follow me mode, the drone will not change altitude. It will stay on a flat plane. Next, the camera will not turn with your profile when it's in follow me mode. Now, there's a little bit of a difference here between follow me and active track, because at active track, you get all of that, except it's limited on only 100 yards. Or 100 meters or so in radius. That said, in follow me mode, you do not have a distance penalty and restriction. Instead, you can go as far as you can until you A, run out of battery, or B, lose signal. Losing signal being probably the most likely. Since you have these serious limitations with the drone because it will not change altitude and it will not change camera angle, you're going to have to do a little bit of pre-planning here. In order to put the drone in follow me mode, you of course must go to the intelligent flight modes, select follow me, and when you finally get it into the air, you have to have it at a certain height, and I think that's around 35 feet. I usually go a little higher. In this case, it really helps to know and understand the trail that you're about to ride and film and follow me. You're going to have to position the drone in a way that keeps your whole profile in the camera throughout the entire shot. And to capture your profile in that shot, it really depends on how you're going to be followed by the drone. We're going to start off by having the drone follow directly behind me. And so what that means, as I continue to go downhill, I'm going to basically create separation and elevation between me and the drone. So I have to pre-plan ahead a little bit. I'm going to put myself in the top of the screen when I'm starting to get ready to fly. Basically, as I continue to go down the trail, my profile will work its way down to the bottom of the camera screen on the drone. If you do not position yourself in the correct part of the screen when you start out, you're likely just going to be getting some really nice shots of the surrounding landscape and not you actually riding your bike. Now, of course, this really only applies to the drone following behind you and that you're riding downhill. If you're riding flat ground, I'd highly recommend that you position yourself in the middle of the shot. So let's talk about how I pack my whole controller and iPad in my backpack. First off, you got to have a backpack that's friendly to it, and I have a GoPro Seeker backpack. Basically, the GoPro Seeker has a top pouch that I can put my controller in with the toggle guard so nothing bumps or touches that assembly. Next, I run a regular lightning cable to my iPad, and I put the iPad in my main pouch in my backpack. That way, nothing really gets messed up. The glow will be in my front pocket as I ride down the trail, so that will be out kind of in the open. And of course, if you have some ideas on stowing the controller and the iPad in the backpack, let me know down in the comments. Also, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give you here is don't start too fast. Really ease into your run and then don't outrun the drone. You're not going to get any footage if you outrun the drone because it's going to stop, sit there, and then eventually return to home. As you get further from the home point, the battery life is basically going to go down as it's flying, obviously, but the return to home time is going to increase. So keep that in mind. You're going to have a limited scope to work with here unless you reset the home button. And one final note on drone position is that the drone in follow me mode will not turn with your profile. It is fixed in one position, so there's no going back from there. It's kind of unfortunate.
Green trail. It's a really nice flowy green trail. And it's kind of a good practice run for hopefully taking it on more advanced trails. Kind of with the little bit of wind noise we get, it's hard to tell whether it's still following me or not. Kind of on big bends like this, you want to really keep a consistent speed. Like you kind of run through here and it slows you down if you're not really kind of in the zone. This section is really windy. Like right here, I might kind of have a hard time holding the drone. You know, and it might be a little better idea for me to kick it up a little further. As we move along in the vlogs, I will probably try different angles, some different tactics. Until I finally get comfortable with using this mode. As it gets higher up, it becomes harder to hear with the wind noise kind of that you get naturally from the bike.
Now, one of the biggest problems I've had with flying the drone and eventually losing signal is that I usually have lost significant elevation since taking off. When I stop and I bring the drone back, it will tell me, even if I bring it back to my level, I've had a lot of problems trying to get to stay in, quote, 35 feet. It says I'm at negative 200 or something. So you're probably going to have to land the drone. This is one area where it would be really good for a comment if you know something about this and how I could address this issue going forward. It might be, your comment might be featured in a podcast down the road. That way I could, when I go with the video edit software, I know which spot to start. Cool, guys. Hey, you guys have a good one.
You too. Good luck with that.
I know, I need it.
And here's a case of an obvious error. And I'm leaving my errors in here just so that way you guys can have a chance at seeing where I messed up if you're trying to use this in an applicable setting. It's obvious that I'm not a master with this thing, but you can overdo the top of the screen, especially if the drone is playing catch up with you and then backing off, and that really is irritating for getting the shot right. Just depends on what you're doing and how long you're planning on riding with it. And sometimes they just don't align together.
So far my conclusions kind of are, I just have to really ride better with this thing. Since this trail has a lot of turns in it, it could really kind of, I could find a spot to lose my momentum, so to speak, on a linear path. And that's gonna mess with me just a little bit. Hopefully we can get down to the bottom down over here and we'll be able to collect it. So stick with me. Last time I actually lost it. That right here, I was going a little too fast, and you can pick up your speed through these turns. Yeah, battery level's low.
The good news here is we just ran out of battery on our last run, but that was getting old following me on the drone. What we're going to do is we're going to change drone position. And this is really key. And I actually really ended up liking this position more than the actual follow position. We're going to put it to my 2 o'clock. Theoretically, this should give me a better signal with the drone since I won't really be able to outrun it. I'm still going to have to monitor my speed. And also, I should be able to stay in the camera a little bit longer. It still depends on how the trail unfolds that determines whether I do stay in the camera or not.
Really, really well right here. Good to know I can't outrun the GPS signal doing it this way. So far, I'm actually becoming a really big fan of this tactic, kind of putting the drone in front of you. So yeah, it is like right in the exact spot that I want to be in. And that's exactly what I want. I feel like I just hit a big breakthrough.
So at the end of the Kessel Run, I actually did like that 2 o'clock position a lot more than the 6 o'clock position for the drone. I think it worked a lot better with the trail, and I also did not lose signal, which is really important. Again, staying in that 6 o'clock position really maximizes the odds that you're going to lose signal with the drone. Of course, note that in the 2 o'clock position, I'm moving from left to right. So I'm basically put myself in the top left side of the screen in hopes I would stay in it throughout the entirety of the run. Obviously, I kind of got out of the shot a couple times, so it's not perfect, but it's kind of better than nothing in some cases if that's going to be filler drone material. And just like when we were in the 6 o'clock position, I was basically planning on staying at one end of the screen and working myself from the top left to the bottom right. And thank you for watching episode 2 of my mountain biking with drone series, in which we use the DJI Follow Me mode on the DJI Mavic. And if you're curious about seeing some of my past work, go check out my Andy's Loop video where I actually went down a section and successfully flew the drone perfectly in Follow Me mode. It was actually a really good run. I had one before that and I forgot to push the record button, so that was tragic. Be sure to go ahead and leave a comment, especially if you have hints, tips, and helpful tricks on how to fly the DJI Mavic Pro and Follow Me. Good comments will be actually read on an audio podcast that I plan on doing specifically for this video. And that way we can use it to brainstorm and hammer home new ideas for using the drone. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll catch you on down the trail, on the river, or on the mountain. Have a good one.